Well, Ron, I think herein lies the problem. You said we need solutions to the problems, but I see it that we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem right now. Prove to me we have a problem, then we'll have a solution. As far as I know, recreation does not have a problem. I don't know about DPW. Recreation does not have a problem.
I'm at a loss then, because apparently the effort to bring it to this point was over economies somewhere in your budget. Is it not, or am I being?
No, not that I know of.
No. Yes. That
what's the net
Mr.
benefit
Mazzoli,
that we're
if I
trying
may,
to get to here?
Mr. Spermowski, if you could then recite the initial goals that created this entire issue and the direction where you wanted to go on it. Apparently, some missed that, so let's.
Why are we doing this to begin with? Because the township is in a dire economic state. We've lost $45 million in terms of ratables. Given that situation, we need to look under all of the large rocks within the township to see, is there a way that we continue to do business and save money? The preliminary analysis conducted by the finance department, working with myself and Mr. Schleifer, indicates that there's an opportunity to save a significant amount of money in hundreds of thousands of dollars by bringing the labor components together. So the goal here would be to bring your labor components together, optimize the solution to protect the quality of service, and maintain the autonomous, decentralized Recreation and Parks Department. The only thing that would change in this entire concept, based upon what we've discussed tonight in front of you, is that there would be an indirect reporting relationship between the person who currently is the department head of Recreation and Parks and the workers who would be performing many of the parks and recreation labor side. The entire staff of recreation, aside from the skilled laborers, would be left alone.
So the core issue is still, as I understand it, an economic one.
That's it.
Right? That's really what it boils down to. But the job functions that you're talking about changing them in some way. And along with change, I'm not putting words in your mouth, you stop me. But if you're going to modify the job functions along the way, with it is going to come changes in compensation somewhere along the way, because where are your dollars in overtime, your savings, or your savings in the?
It's headcount. The savings are a function of headcount.
Oh, fine. Now, all right. So the savings are going to come in headcount somewhere along the way in this process, okay? And I'm not concerned with the fact that you're approaching this from a standpoint of, you're creating a new type of entity here. There's no different to me. There's no issue to me in creating a new entity. You're still going to have the same work done provided, even though it may be one whole entity. And again, I make no opinion on that at this point. I personally, think the public would want to know. Not so much concerned with loss of services. You're pretty much guaranteeing us that. Both, the entire committee is. I think we'd like to understand, again.
The underlying concept, Mr. Francioli, goes back to 100 years. Henry Ford had an idea, and his idea was division of labor. He separated tasks. If to simplify this, we have two types of tasks. We got a planning task, a management task, and we have a skilled labor task. What we're trying to do is unify the skilled labor task so that we can have a better sharing, pooling of the services, such that will enable us not to have to add the heads that are needed. We still need to maintain the expertise of planning and management. That's been made abundantly clear, and Mr. Schleifer and I totally understand that, and that's why, based upon the assessment work which we did, working with all of the constituencies, we believe that we need to go back and modify that draft ordinance to reflect that. So that's where we are. So I'm trying to be very precise with my language.
The savings that they're talking about in personnel are to rehire people who we don't need now. They're gone. You're doing the work. You're getting a little overtime too.
Rehire people with
that
your
are gone. So in other words, through attrition, which is the right way to reduce spending, through attrition, we've lost people over the last 2 years.
That
Yes.
I'm not going to
supposition-
rehire those people.
That
Period.
supposition overlooks the most important element of this entire process.
So if they don't go
They-
together, you're going to hire
let
4
me
people,
finish,
right?
And I'll maybe
And that's gonna
explain
be
this to you in
$300,000.
language you can understand. We
Oh, that's
are,
real cute. That's
we
real
are
nice. This is
short
not a dictator police
a
state,
shed,
John.
we are short a head count of 3.5 men. As a result,
Let the DPW
The-
get up and say that they're overworked. Or let the recreation get up and say they're overworked, and they want to hire an additional person.
Ms. O'Reilly, I'm trying to explain this to you.
Well, you were rude to me.
We are short a head count. As a result, the tasks that have to be accomplished have not changed. The tasks and the workload continues. That forces more of the work, the burden of the work, on a lesser staff, which creates a fatigue factor. That fatigue factor then exposes the men to safety issues. And that is a common issue in labor forces. And in order to address that issue and head that off, the combined labor pool now gives everybody some breathing room. And you're right, Ms. Iradi, this is not a police state. But on the other hand, I am not a dictator either. But you have to yield the floor when your question is posed and your voice inflection changes. Because that's how I and other people here know you aren't finished. But when you use conjunctive words to go on and on, your questions become more complex and at the same time forces answers to become more complex. And it doesn't serve the purpose of trying to get to the core issue. So I thank you for your time. Mr. Francioli, I apologize for the interruption. Do you have anything else?
No, I appreciate it, Mr. Mayor, and I'm sure there are other people in the room that would have some comment as well. But again, my parting comment is only that I think a little further clarification on the economies of scale are in order, and if that were the case, I think we'd all be a little more at ease with moving forward. Thank you.
You know, Ron, anybody who has followed my career, knows that I am all for cutting spending. I voted against your pay raise. I voted against the bonus. I got a lot of backlash for it, but it was
I
the
never
right thing
held
to
that
do.
against you.
Thank you. So, and this year, yeah, it's a tough economy, but we're able to pay all of our bills, put away $300,000 for a new garbage truck. You'll like this one. There's an additional $20,000 in the budget for signage at the municipal building. And there's $25,000 allocated to disconnect the light on Whippany Road by Lucent Technology, even though within a couple of years, Lucent itself is going to take probably the light out when they redevelop that property. So we don't have a shortfall in the budget. Sure, I would like to reduce the budget to allow the residents to pay less taxes, but we're not in a critical position here. And like I said, we're not hiring back. We have a report from one of the departments we have a report on. It mentions some things in there that we can do to save taxpayer dollars. I will be for it. I can guarantee that probably the majority of the committee would not be for it. But there's different ways. I mean, we could look at different health type of benefits, higher deductibles, paying towards your insurance, stuff like that. We haven't done that. We've looked at the DPW and the rec and said, well, there's 4 people down. Now let's see, if we don't hire them, then we could save this amount of money. I'm not going to hire them. They're not needed. And also, I'd like to have Joe follow up and see if there has been more injuries this year than in previous years because of the stress fatigue. So I'll have Joe follow up on that.